Are you trying to figure out where the best place to live in Boston, Massachusetts is? My guess is yes, because you're here watching this video and you're doing your research online, and there's just so much information out there. You're just looking for more because you need to digest it. Because let me guess, you're thinking about moving here. Maybe it's because you got one of those amazing jobs. I have to be honest, the thing that originally brought me back to Boston was a job. It was way back, over a decade ago, and I was working in the footwear industry for Converse. You might have heard of them. And I had an opportunity at the corporate office. So it was one of those things where I myself came back to Boston because of a job. So what I wanted to go over is, all the different companies that are here right now, because you may want to move here and you may just haven't found that job yet. So are curious, who are the people that I should be looking into as far as companies? So if you're relocating to Boston, well, look, I've lived in Boston for over a decade since then and helped so many people relocating to Boston. And, it was to help them find a place that best fits their lifestyle, as well as best fits what they need for their careers. In this video, I'm going to be helping you with your search on where to possibly work in Boston. This video is all about what companies are the best in Boston for 2023, starting right now. What's up, everybody? This is Joe with the Turco Group right here in Boston, Massachusetts. If this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything about working, eating, sleeping, living, playing, and what it's like to be a green teamer, make sure you subscribe. Click that little bell so that you're notified every video. Honestly, we get so many phone calls, texts, emails every day from people who are relocating here for a job, and we absolutely love it. If you're thinking about moving anywhere in the area, relocating, or coming here to stay, make sure you give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, and even send Paul review. Days, nights, weekends, however you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back when moving to Boston. So, what are the things that you really want to think about when you're moving? Well, it's, like I said, those jobs. It's who are the top employers, who are the people that are going to be making it so you can afford to live in such a great and beautiful area. So let's get right to it and start talking about the 5 top employers here in Boston, Massachusetts for 2023. Okay, so one of the first and biggest employers that you're going to want to check out is, believe it or not, General Electric. Yes, electric company. It is not just about electricity. It is an engineering company. It has over 300,000 employees. Many of them.
Ooh, I love football. It is fun. Love Hearts.
Now, what are the type of jobs that you're looking at if you're going to be applying to General Electric? Well, there's a couple, so let's go. We've got mechanical engineers, we've got software developers, and application designers. You
Sammy.
have people like marketing managers, you have people like industrial engineers. You have a lot of highly skilled, highly qualified engineering work being done at General Electric. They have a lot of just different benefits.
What kind of name is
They're a great company.
She said there was
something that
Nigeria.
you should be checking out. You can go to
Nigeria.
Was there
and
someone
again,
else
they're
on that
engineering, they're a publicly traded company, and the company's
Love Hearts.
segments offers just a ton of different opportunities.
Why should
So
the
those are
jury
your fields
believe you're
in Boston. Definitely check them out. Okay, the next biggest is
Why don't you tell us
Gillette.
what you
So looking at our number 2
Was there
company on,
someone else
the
on
top
that
5
who's
companies that you might want to work for or look into work for if you're going to be
No.
moving here to Boston, or even if you're just already here. and
Why
want to
should
get
the
into
jury
the
believe
industry.
your account
So,
over Miss
Gillette.
Wilson's?
It's not just the stadium, it's actually,
Because
yes,
Charlotte was
and
drunk
maybe they want to send me a
and
couple
high on
samples.
oxycodone.
It is a razor company. It is where they specialize
you?
in personal care
Not
products
taking drugs in the
for men, and it's
No further
just
questions.
Wait a
one of
minute.
those
Charlotte's a
things
good
where
person.
people don't
Alright,
realize
she's just looking
how
out for her
big
brother.
an industry something that simple is, and it's based right here in Boston.
Prosecution
Now,
rests, Your Honor.
interesting facts about, Gillette is it's one, very diverse with 40% of its workforce being considered, an ethnic minority, and 40% of the company is female. So you have a lot of diversity, you have
I was hoping the Declan would think twice before perjuring
management, you have
himself.
over 100,000
Obviously, he wasn't getting
employees.
convincing
It is a
incentive.
company that is established.
Jandal.
I've never trusted you.
Founded in 1901, so
Sammy.
it's over 100 years.
Sammy.
And
I simply don't give you
Jandal.
a trust as freely as
check
you do.
out
Jandal.
Gillette.com.
Need I
It
remind
is
you who
one
the
of
fiancé was sitting next to in court?
better paying companies too, and the company has great employee retention with staff members.
Yes, he
Usually
says
stay
yes.
for 5.5 years, which if you look at how long most people hold a job, it's significantly less than that.
I'm not
But
talking about
not
that.
only that, you're going to have things like, oh hey, Gillette
This
Stadium,
conversation face to
you're
face.
gonna get some
Obviously can't
perks.
come to you,
So
so.
the next company that you should look at
I'm
if
sure
you're
you're gonna
thinking
start
about
crazy.
moving
I
to
can only
Boston
imagine.
is the Gillette Stadium. And drop a comment down below if you had heard of these companies but never really realized they were Boston companies,
I'm not even sure
or if you're
myself.
finding that as we're going through this list
Hey,
that
what are you
one of the
talking
companies that you think is the top 5 for Boston isn't there. I want to know, because
Talk to you
if
tomorrow.
I made a mistake, I want to fix it. But honestly, I think you're going to love these companies. I think you're going to think that they're spot on, but your input and feedback is always important to me. All right, so one of the other top employers here in Boston, and if you're local, you're gonna know all about it. You might roll your eyes and be like, yeah, everybody knows about it. But I think if you're watching this video, it means you don't know exactly what you might be doing, or you're looking for a career change, and just know that you want to be in Boston, so you need to know who those big employers are. And that's why a company called State Street. Now, State Street is a leading financial services provider, and they're giving some of the world's most sophisticated institutional knowledge, and they offer a flexible suite of services that, is on the investment spectrum, it's
Say
investment
scary.
management, it's research, it's
Yeah.
trading, it's investment services.
Stacy?
I have a couple friends that are auditors.
I have ramen noodles with brains.
And it's,
Say
again, a
Stacy.
very diverse
God.
company. Boston is about diversity and inclusion. So, it's 38% female, it's 40.3% where it's ethnic minorities, and,
So,
the
that
thing
they put
is
too much salt
people
or
tend to
something?
stay. It is one of those few lifelong companies. So if you're thinking about it, check out statestreet.com and,
this is when the
tell
food
Joseph.
quality
Okay,
changes
let's
because
get
the crew's
right
been
back into it
shifted.
with the
Maybe somebody
fourth.
quit. or
Number
something.
4. Yes, I know, I'm Italian. I talk with my hands sometimes. I'm working on it, YouTube.
Yeah,
But
but
here's the
different
thing.
crew works
You wanna
together,
know
and then
about
you have
these
new crew members,
companies,
they have to
and
learn
you
how
gotta
to work
check them out.
together.
Again, I
get
would
stuff
never
right
have thought
or
about this
overdo it.
until I started working in the corporate footwear industry, and it was Iron Mountain.
But he's always there, though.
Never
Right?
even heard of it, never even
He's
thought
always there,
about
though,
it,
right?
didn't even get it. And I was like, what is Iron
You
Mountain?
probably got some new
Why do
people.
we care? What's the big deal?
I think
Why
they
so many
shuffle
people were
people
talking
from
about
branch to branch.
Well,
Oh, really?
what it
Yeah.
is Iron
Why?
Mountain is a
Like,
Boston-based
I don't
company
know. I'm not
that
sure
does
though.
data
Why do you do that?
protection. It is
I
like
don't know. You
recovery services.
Can you
It's
understand
backups
it?
for, your important financial records. And they're centered around providing other companies like Converse, like, Aetna, like
Huh?
Gillette, like State Street, all of the different data protection and backing,
What?
and it is just, again,
Where are
another
you,
great
Snow White?
company. It's well established, it's been in existence since 1951, so it's not something that's going
Just try to get him
anywhere.
out of there for a couple hours,
And,
okay?
if you're interested in a job there, you should check out ironmountain.com. Alright, and the fifth one.
Any luck?
It's actually going to be,
Please.
I'm cheating, I'm going to lump them both
Stacy.
together because I used to work
Say
in this
Stacy.
industry. And,
Stacy?
they're
Stacy.
two of my favorite
Please.
in-town
Stacy?
places.
Wow. Why do you want me to say Stacy? You gonna send me some money?
And another that I work with closely, and that is Converse.
Say Jen, don't say Stacy.
As well
If you do it, I like.
the other sneakers.
You're gonna like it anyway,
Now,
pump.
most people don't realize that Boston
Say,
is
I'm a girl.
home for the footwear industry.
Then you're a woman.
We have so many different companies like Wolverine. We have Clark Shoes. We have New Balance. We have Reebok. We have Puma. We have Adidas. We have Timberland. We have Cole Haan. We have all these places centered around Boston and some directly within Boston. And that's where you're going to get places like New Balance, which is in the Allston Brighton area. You're also going to get
You love Stacy?
Converse, that's right on the harbor, right in Boston.
Come in.
That's right next to the bridge. So, as you're coming over the bridge, you're going to see those big Converse signs on the skyline. And it's just a great place to work. So if you're in the footwear industry,
She's not.
looking at Converse, looking at New Balance, that
If
is
my
my
parents
number
find out
5
this,
best
I'll
employers.
tell my dad you're the one who
Here's the
drank
thing,
his
guys.
85-year-old.
At the end of the day, if you're coming to Boston for a career, know that it is competitive. There's a lot of people here that just really need to advance their careers. And some will come for a short time, some will stay for a while. The great thing that I found about it is I love helping those
How'd you get
people
some, man?
secure a home.
So
So
what
if you are watching this video, you're saying, okay, great, now I know the direction. I am coming to Boston. I am finding a place to work. Now I need to find a place to live. Well, that's where I
It's
come.
not money I'm
I
after.
love it when you either drop a comment or when you send a text or an email and all that.
What's that mean?
Tell your wife to say Stacy. No. Absolutely not.
Ask them if they want our PayPal address to send us money.
Do you want our PayPal address to send us money? Preferably your monthly salary.
Yeah.
You have to buy a toothpaste.
Well, if it isn't the infamous Dominic Wright.
Conrad Grayson.
Expecting someone else, I bet.
Please.
Winning resume with Handsome.
PayPal.
Join thousands of users who got amazing jobs in some of the top companies in the world with a modern, ATS-friendly, and handsome resume.
What is the PayPal? I said, what is the PayPal? I don't know what it is. So I understand most of these chatters are in America. You have American money and you have a PayPal.
Hello,
You
my name is
seem
Miles
money
Davies,
too.
local realtor and buyer specialist with the Glazer Group, and I'm going to give you 9 reasons why you should move to RVA. Richmond is a fast-growing, mid-sized city that has gained a lot of attention over the past 2 years.
Dealing in black market
As our food and brewery scenes boom, new developments pop up on every corner, and the cost of living remains comparatively low. It's no wonder why Richmond's growth has nearly doubled compared to the rest of the state. With the growing job market, lack of traffic, and ever-growing list of family-friendly things to do, Richmond is a great place to live and to call home. Number 1, Richmond is affordable. In Richmond, you get the best of both worlds. The perks of living in a city without the big city price tag. Median household income is above the national average. You can find affordable homes in beautiful neighborhoods despite the city's growth. Plus, Richmond's cost of living is lower than the national average, so your money goes much further. You'll want every extra because there is so much to do. Number 2, traffic? What traffic? According to a study done by Texas A&M Transportation Institute, Richmonders spend the least amount of time sitting in traffic compared to every other city its size. It's no wonder why our neighbors in DC are moving down to the Richmond at historic rates. So whether you choose to live within the city limits or out in the suburbs, traffic is one less thing you'll need to worry about when you visit Richmond. Number 3, the food and beverage boom. Richmond is securely on the map as a culinary and craft beer destination. The city is consistently gaining national awards and recognition, from tacos at Boca, Texas barbecue at ZZQ, to the best bagel in town at Nate's Bagels. You'll find something for everyone. Combine the food scene with over 30 local craft breweries that have secured dozens of awards and high ratings, and you've got a recipe for an indulgent experience. Number 4, career opportunities. The Richmond market is strong. With 7 Fortune 500 companies in the area, the opportunities are endless. As a capital city, there are countless opportunities in a variety of industries such as government, finance, health, and technology. BCU, Capital One, the University of Richmond, and CoStar are just a few of the many big organizations offering secure jobs in the region. While the job market can be competitive, the opportunity for advancement is significant. Number 5, the James River. Sitting pretty at the backdrop of the city, the James River offers Class 4 rapids right in our own backyard. While there's plenty to do in the city, there's also so much to do on and along the river. Explore over 22 miles of trails around the James River Park system. Test your climbing skills at the Manchester Climbing Wall, or kayak raft the tube down the James River. You can't beat the nature and wildlife that surrounds the river. So whether you're an avid outdoorsman or simply enjoy getting fresh air with the water view, you'll be so happy that the James is so close. With nature on your doorstep, you won't believe that you actually live in a city. Number 7, Virginia is for lovers. In a study conducted in 2014, a survey showed that Richmond had a low divorce rate and a low unemployment rate. Almost 30% of the population in Richmond is unmarried, making Richmond the #1 city in the nation to find love. Not to mention, the city hosts hundreds of perfect date locations for every personality type.
Virginia is for lovers.
And people to meet, Richmond is a great place to meet that special someone. So what are you waiting for? Number 8. Location. 2 hours to the beach, 2 hours to the mountains, 2 hours to Washington, D.C. What more do we need to say? The location is amazing. Take a trip to the beach for the day, weekend, or week, and it's a total breeze to get there. In the winter, head to the mountains with Massanutten and Wintergreen resorts, both within 2 hours or
Might be
less.
the first thing you
If you
want.
feel like hitting a bigger city for
I
the
really had
weekend,
no
then
idea
just
why
hop in the
we
car
violate
and
house
train
address.
up to
I
Washington,
did.
D.C. Richmond is centrally located in the state of Virginia and the East Coast, which makes it the perfect home base. Number 9, family friendly. Some cities are just not designed for families, but Richmond is not one. The Children's Science Museum's 3 locations, the Lewis
The
Gibbs
truth is, I
Botanical
have
Park,
been getting close to
expansive
Jack.
parks, including the state's largest
Again,
park,
information on
Pocahontas
him.
State Park, the Nature
Jack
Center
thinks he
and
doesn't
Farm
know
at
what she
Maymont,
is.
and so
And you
much
don't believe
more.
him.
There's plenty to keep the whole family busy all year long. With strong neighborhoods and a sense of community, Richmond is simply a great place to raise a
As far as
family.
I can tell,
Thanks for
Jack's
joining
not
us.
the
If
truth.
you have any questions about anything Richmond related,
I'm the cherry convinced Daniel for this. I'll never forget myself. Well, that makes 2 of us.
I already know that today's video is going to make a lot of
Fortunately,
people
you are the
upset
factors
because we're
that
talking about all the reasons why people are leaving Richmond. I can see the comments flooding in now, and that's okay. I will survive. If you're not afraid to face the hard facts about living in Richmond, stay tuned. So I gotta say this up front. I love Richmond. I'm a realtor and I'm constantly encouraging people to move here to this city. So you're probably wondering, why would I make a video like this? Well, the fact is Richmond is not for everybody. And there are good reasons why people are leaving. I want to make sure that anybody who's looking to me for advice knows just what they're getting into if they decide to move here, okay? So with that said, let's jump into all the reasons why people are leaving Richmond. There is a housing affordability crisis in the U.S. right now because of elevated interest rates, rising home prices, and historically low inventory. Millions of Americans just cannot afford to buy a home, and COVID certainly didn't make that situation any better. Currently, the median sale price for a single-family home here in Richmond is $415K, where the median household income for a couple in Richmond is $128K. Recently, there was a report in Credit News indicating that 50 66% of Richmond's neighborhoods are unaffordable for your median two-person household. Los Angeles ranked worst in their report, with 100% of its neighborhoods being unaffordable. Richmond was number 10, worse than Charlotte, North Carolina, Denver, Colorado, and even Washington, D.C. Richmond is a fantastic place if you can afford it. Unfortunately, a lot of folks are having to seek less expensive alternatives. When someone asks me as a realtor where to find the best schools in Richmond, I have to be very careful. There are just too many factors that go into school performance, and I'm not going to give a direct answer to that question. The fact is, though, that Virginia ranks very high. It's ranked number 10 by the U.S. News and World Report in all the country. So the question is, what are the schools like in Richmond specifically? The Virginia Department of Education publishes quality profiles of each public school in the state. I took a look at those numbers for 22 and 23, looking specifically at math scores, and here's what I found. The average score for all Virginia schools was a 69 in math. Here in the Richmond area, Richmond City average score was a 44, whereas Chesterfield and Henrico counties had 65. In Fairfax and Arlington, in Northern Virginia, the scores were 75 and 78. Virginia Beach, 77. Still a full 33 points higher than Richmond City. So it's probably obvious. Families that are looking for public schools with the highest test scores are probably going to be looking at Northern Virginia and Virginia Beach. 40 years ago, Richmond was known as one of the murder capitals of the U.S. At the time, it had a homicide rate 7 times the national average. Here in the city, sometimes at night you'll hear noises and think, were those fireworks or were those gunshots? Richmond does still report higher crime rates than average, 114% higher than the state average and 59% higher than the national average. If that's all people knew about Richmond, I could understand why they would want to get out of Dodge. Before you make any final judgments about Richmond, consider a few things. Number one, all cities are going to have crime. The more people, the more crime. Lexington, Kentucky has 17% less crime, but Orlando, Florida has 41% more. Second, the majority of crimes here in Richmond are property crimes. In fact, the violent crime rate in Richmond is 3% less than the national average. Only 1 in 216 people is going to be the victim of a violent crime here. And third, remember that crimes are hyper-localized. The Richmond Police Department has identified 21 hotspots around town. If you avoid those, your chances of being the victim of a violent crime go way down. Now, there are safer places than Richmond, but please understand this. Disney World is not one of them. Well, let me pause for a quick public service announcement. If you're thinking about a move to Richmond, you're going to want an agent on your side who knows the city inside and out. Somebody knows all the secret spots where you can get an especially good deal, or knows the best strategies for winning in a competitive situation. My team and I are excited to do that for you. My number's on the screen below. Send me a text. Give me a call. I'll get right back to you. Politics has pulled some people toward Richmond and pushed some people away. You probably already know this, but a red state is one that consistently votes Republican, whereas a blue state does the same for Democrats. A purple state tends to go back and forth between red and blue. So what is Virginia? Between 1968 and 2000, Virginia conspired.
What's illegal?
Lee didn't kill Tyler.
It's illegal?
Viti something. That
Yeah.
skin condition is called what?
Vitiligo, yeah. What about it?
Is that when you hollow?
No. It's somebody else. She's not the only person to have that.
Okay.
Doesn't make any sense. He was set up.
By whom, for instance?
Jack Porter. He knew what Lee looked like. He could
No,
have
wait.
orchestrated the whole thing to protect.
How do you know how to wear?
It's because I'm speaking. Kwani your viewers are deaf.
You must have been watching me a while. He's pretty though, huh?
What?
He's pretty though, huh?
The one with the nini. So you're out here cheating in front of me. Why are you calling that girl pretty?
This is cold. She's cold. You can't even meet her. I'd be scared to date a woman like that. You can imagine what people say. Out loud. What did you do to her? Did you do that to her? Are you sick? You choose to be albino or be like that? I just imagine you albino. Your skin will look yellow.
Cutie, cutie. Where am I gonna place my laptop if you're sitting there? Penguin. Today your daddy dropped you and I saw him live on camera.
Babe, look at this picture.
You dropped the kitten, you.
This picture, babe.
Leave that picture, like the fact that you dropped our
Jump.
No. I saw you. I saw you babe live on live. You didn't care if you're gonna break his legs. You wanted him to start limping.
He wanted to start limping.
No, he didn't want to start limping this cat. He's a young cat. You need to be gentle.
What do
I'm
y'all think?
Penguin.
You 0 viewers. What do y'all think? Oh, 1 viewer.
Babe. Today in the morning, early in the morning, you farted a very bad fart. I had to get up. Nobody's listening to you.
It's 1. It's 1.
I had to get up, and then you know what you did? You even uncovered yourself so that it can fill the whole room.
But you do the same thing.
No.
You
I do
can't
the
do
same
cheese
thing, but do you hear any? Do you hear any smell?
Some feeling.
No.
Like a wall
babe.
of suspicion.
No. I think it's because you're a man. My God, babe.
I'm a mom.
Jesus. I had to get up. I couldn't. You know, your fart is that fat that when you fart and someone is deep asleep, they will get up because they'll realize they're inhaling some poisonous gas.
Poisonous gas.
Oh my God. Oh.
Heard that? Oh, I got 4. You 4, the 4 of you. You heard that? Yeah, you're gonna be a moderator.
You wonder if we eat the same thing in this house.
Yeah, it's different results. Kimberly Ruby Cruz Garcia. Wow.
I'll take my medicine then. I'm retired. I'm retiring for the night. I'm just chilling.
It's not even 8 o'clock.
Did I say I'm going to sleep? I'm just chilling. But I am done.
7 viewers. 8 viewers. Yeah. It's like, it's not nothing better to do than to watch this channel.
Consistently voted Republican, but that changed when Barack Obama ran for president. Ever since then, Virginia has consistently voted blue in the presidential elections. It's mostly been true for the governors as well. Yet in 2021, Glenn Youngkin, a Republican, won the office. Currently, with the Republican governor and the Democratic General Assembly, there's a lot of conflict, and not always
Because of how old your
so what are the
passport
politics
was
like here
looking?
in Richmond?
Did you see
Thank
how
you,
your
whether you're
passport
talking
was
about
looking?
Richmond
Oh my
City,
God,
or
babe.
the counties that are surrounded and make up Metro Richmond. Richmond City
What do you think
is
about
solidly blue. It's had one Republican mayor since 1870. The closest counties of Chesterfield and Henrico also vote consistently Democrat. Whereas the outlying counties of Goochland and Hanover New Kent, they tend to vote
I just
Republican.
see you,
Maybe this is more info than you were
and you
looking
come
for, but
wearing
I
that,
think you can see why a diehard Democrat or a diehard
dreadlock
Republican
queen.
may choose to move to another state that votes more consistently the way that they do. No
I
matter
got
where
interrogated
people
so much,
live,
I didn't want
they
to do
always
nothing
have
to
a
attention.
They love to complain about the taxes.
Oh my God,
That's
babe, I
definitely
think
true
you
here
like
in Richmond.
you
The income tax in Virginia
really
is
should be interrogated a lot
5.75%,
because
a
if
good
you're
bit
not
higher than North
interrogated a
Carolina,
lot,
that's
you bring a lot
4.5,
of
slower
unnecessary
than
jokes.
Maryland with 8.95%. Virginia's sales tax is 6%. But then there's a
Wait,
meals
immigration?
tax,
Wrong
unexpected surprise when you order your food at a
You and
restaurant.
me, so
4% in
visiting?
Henrico, 7.5% tacked onto your bill in Richmond City. Real estate taxes
You,
are
that's
biggie.
you.
Now, the rates are fairly reasonable people in the
that's you.
surrounding counties.
What do you mean that's me?
You're
That's
gonna pay
you.
just 67
That's
cents
you.
on every
Hasa,
$1,000 of your assessed
habari
value.
nzuri
Chesterfield County, it'll be
nzuri
90
nzuri.
cents
Ai,
per house.
wewe,
But in
guys,
Richmond
blah,
City,
blah,
it's
blah, blah, blah.
33% higher than that.
You always
You're
say
gonna pay
blah, blah, blah,
$1.20
blah,
for every
blah, blah.
1,000 in property assessments. How does that compare to other cities and states? Well, Charlotte is just 73 cents. Washington, D.C., 85 cents. Fairfax, Virginia, 113. And San Francisco, which always strikes me as one of the most inflated places in the country, $1.18. As property values went up during the pandemic, so did tax assessments. Here in Richmond, they went at a restaurant. 4% in Henrico to complain about the taxes. And that's definitely true here in Richmond. The income tax in Virginia is 5.75%. A good bit higher than North Carolina, that's 4.5. It's lower than Maryland with 8.95%. Virginia's sales tax is 6%. But then there's a meals tax, unexpected surprise when you order your food at a restaurant. 4% in Henrico, 7.5% tacked onto your bill in Richmond City. Real estate taxes are the biggie. Now the rates are fairly reasonable in the surrounding counties. In New Kent, you're going to pay just 67 cents on every $1,000 of your assessed value. Chesterfield County, it'll be 90 cents per thousand. But in Richmond City, it's 33% higher than that. You're going to pay $1.20 for every 1,000 in property assessments. How does that compare to other cities and states? Well, Charlotte is just 73 cents. Washington, D.C., 85 cents. Fairfax, Virginia, 113, and San Francisco, which always strikes me as one of the most inflated places in the country, $1.18. As property values went up during the pandemic, so did tax assessments. Here in Richmond, they went up 13% each year in 22, 23. As a result, Richmond City residents are now paying nearly $1,000 more per year in real estate tax than they did before COVID. And that's causing some Richmonders to move to states where the taxes are lower. Older neighborhoods throughout Richmond, communities like Church Hill and Jackson Ward and Manchester, are undergoing a tremendous amount of change right now. Old homes are being torn down or renovated and rebuilt. New stores and restaurants are rushing in. On the one hand, this seems very positive. Property values are going up. New residents are moving in with fresh energy and vision and money. But for the original residents, this can be hugely disruptive. As property values go up, so do the taxes. They can no longer afford to live in their own communities. They're forced to sell and relocate. This is called gentrification, and it's a huge problem here in Richmond. Though it has certainly improved property values throughout the city, aggressive development has made housing less and less affordable. But there are good people working hard to ensure that neighbors have access to affordable housing. One of those is Urban Hope, which is based in Church Hill on the East End. They understand that a house is more than four walls and a door. It represents security, prosperity, and possibility for the future. If you are a sports junkie and cannot imagine life without box seats in the big stadium, you're not going to stay long in Richmond. You're going to go somewhere like Charlotte, where you've got the Hornets and the Panthers, or maybe Atlanta, where you've got the Hawks and the Falcons and the Braves. You may head north to Philadelphia or New York or Boston. If you were to move to Montgomery County, Maryland, where I lived for a number of years, you'd have 5 professional teams within a 1-hour drive. Baltimore Orioles and the Ravens, Washington Commanders, the Capitals, and my favorite, Washington Nationals. Now, don't get me wrong, Richmond has more than its fair share of sports enthusiasts. That's why we are setting attendance records every year, giving our local teams the attention that they deserve. I'm a big fan of the Richmond Flying Squirrels, the AA baseball team affiliated with the San Francisco Giants. For soccer, we've got the Richmond Kickers and the Richmond Ivy, our men's and women's team. Denny Hamlin is a local legend. He grew up here in Chesterfield. He's won the race here in Richmond 4 times at the Richmond Raceway. And then there are college sports. VCU and the University of Richmond both consistently field great teams. But sports is pretty addictive. And if you need that professional fix every weekend, you probably should pack your bags. Richmond was the capital of the Confederacy during the Civil War. It had the largest market in the U.S. for the buying and selling of enslaved peoples for much of the 19th century. If you go to the site of Lumpkin Jail in Shockoe Bottom or walk along the slave trail, you'll be horrified by the reminders of Richmond's ugly past. But you may not realize that the racial tensions continue to simmer. During the summer of 2020, in response to the murder of George Floyd, Protests erupted throughout the city. Monuments of Confederate leaders were dragged down. The phrases Black Lives Matter and I Can't Breathe were graffitied all over town. The turmoil underscored the differing racial demographics here in Metro Richmond. In Richmond City, the numbers are very even. 44% black, 42% white. But as you get out into the counties, the numbers changed. In Henrique, the leaders were dragged down. The phrases Black Lives Matter and I Can't Breathe were graffitied all over town. The turmoil underscored the differing racial demographics here in Metro Richmond. In Richmond City, the numbers are very even. 44% black, 42% white. But as you get out into the counties, the numbers change. In Henrico County, it's 51% white, 29% black. And in Chesterfield, 59% white, 23% black. For many, and I put myself in this category, these tensions are unavoidable and actually somewhat healthy. It's good for me to live in a community next to people from other cultures who don't look and think the same. It forces me to challenge my assumptions. Would it be easier to live in a place where everybody did look just like me? Sure, but it definitely wouldn't be better. And yet some just can't stomach these tensions. It makes them uncomfortable or even scared to be in a place where they're not the majority. And these are the folks who, unfortunately, in my opinion, are choosing to move to places where people do look just like they do. The older you get, the more you realize that the world is not black and white. But in Richmond, it mostly is. Here in the city, we have 44% black, 42% white. That's almost 90% of the population. The rest is divided between 5% Hispanic, 2% Asian, and 4% other. For a long time, I lived in Gaithersburg, Maryland, a suburb of Washington, D.C. Now, that was a really international place. 39% white, 21% black, 16% Asian, 13% Hispanic, 11% other. A lot like the population in New York City. Students at the local community college came from over 160 countries. Shopping at Costco was this fantastic experience where you hear all kinds of languages with maybe a little English mixed in. And when out-of-town visitors would come to my church, invariably they would say, I feel like I was just in the United Nations. There are pockets of Richmond that are internationally diverse. For example, there's a thriving Hindu center in Glen Allen near Short Pump. But if you're the kind of person who's most happy in a city teeming with lots of languages and lots of cultures, you're probably not going to be most happy in Richmond. So we've just covered some of the worst things about living in Richmond. If you can live with those, I think you're going to love this fantastic city. Just remember to have somebody who's a native, somebody who's got your back if you ever need help. And again, if you're thinking about moving to or from Richmond or anywhere here in the surrounding area, reach out. I'd love to help. In the meantime, I'll see you on the next one.
Others see evil that makes them deserve.
It's really
I was wasting my time gathering evidence on jury tampering when
Like the population.
so much part of it for.
sorry to have put us in this position again. Especially after all these years. We have another David Clark style situation.
It's very strong news.
The name's Mason Conrad. Lee. He's in a holding cell at Rikers. If he starts talking, I don't see how we keep a lid on our association.
All of the research that I did, everybody that I talked to, they said that it was just a prison fight. And my dad was knifed to death by an inmate. How did I not know this? The Graysons murdered my father.
Previously on Revenge.
Was there someone else on that beat?
No. Jack's been sitting on a hoodie that directly links him to the murder.
Let's try to get him out of there for a couple hours.
What's that? On your sweatshirt, is that blood?
When you said you were going to use the edge of your punk.
Checkmate.
If I'm going down, I'm taking you down with me.
Can you break or not?
Please!
Hands up, don't move!
We're saying something happened himself.
Confessed to killing Tyler. We have another David Clark style situation.
But is that Conrad?
The Graysons murdered my father. Absolution is the most powerful form of forgiveness. The full pardon from suspicion and accountability. It's the liberation of a stolen future. A future my father never lived to see. Absolution is a mercy the people who killed him will never know.
The timing of the confession and jailhouse suicide of Victor Lee Moran coming just hours before the defense was to present their case has raised suspicions among those who are carefully watching what many are calling the new trial of the decade. Judge Elizabeth Hawthorne spent all morning in chambers with prosecution and defense teams. And now, billionaire Daniel Grayson's fate hangs in the balance. Still, Grayson's innocence remains very much in question in the court of public opinion.
Yeah, I'll say. You know, if the Graysons are behind all this, you're gonna have to steer clear of Charlotte. Like you did with Amanda Clark. Charlotte's headed down a really bad path.
Bye.